If you love warm winter spices, you're gonna absolutely love this recipe. Hey everyone, I'm Dina from simplyhomecooked.com, and today I'm gonna be showing you how to make this incredible pumpkin bread. It is super moist, soft, and dense, and buttery, and obviously has all the classic warm winter spices like nutmeg, cinnamon, and cloves. And then my favorite part is the top. I top it with some pumpkin seeds, and so after they get baked, they're like nice and crunchy and have this like nutty flavor. It just has an incredible aroma that goes so well with the soft pumpkin bread. I seriously cannot wait to show you how to make this, so let's get right into it. The first thing you want to do is work on the dry ingredients. So you want to measure out 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, and I always recommend spooning it into the measuring cup and then leveling it off with the back of a knife. Then place a fine mesh sieve right over your mixing bowl and then add the flour inside. Once you've added a total of 2.5 cups of flour, go ahead and add 1 teaspoon of baking powder, half a teaspoon of baking soda, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, 2.25 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, 3/4 teaspoons of ground nutmeg, 1/8 teaspoon of ground cloves, and 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger. Now go ahead and sift everything right into the bowl, and make sure to press any little pieces that might have been left behind as well. And this next step you don't have to do, but I like to mix everything together with a whisk just to ensure that the flour and the spices are well mixed together. Now set that aside for later. In a separate bowl, add 1 cup of golden brown sugar, along with half a cup of granulated sugar, and then 1 cup of unsalted melted butter. Just drizzle that all in. Then grab a large whisk and mix everything together thoroughly. So you want to mix for at least a minute. You just want to get a nice caramel looking consistency. You see that beautiful golden drizzle? That is exactly what you're looking for. Alright, the next ingredient you're going to need is 100% pure pumpkin puree. And I just opened up 1 can. You're going to need a total of 15 ounces, which is 1 can. Just scoop out all the pumpkin puree and add it right into the bowl of the sugar and butter mixture. You're also going to need 2 large eggs. And instead of adding it right into the bowl of the rest of the ingredients, you want to actually crack it into a separate bowl. That way if there are any eggshells, you can take them out before it's mixed into everything else. So once that's done, add them right into the bowl and then grab a large whisk and mix everything together very thoroughly. Once everything is well combined, now you can add in the dry ingredients. So I just dump it all in, but now I ditch the whisk and I use a spatula to fold it in gently. This is where you don't want to overmix. Just mix just until you don't see any more patches of dry flour. This is probably my favorite part of the entire recipe because once those spices hit the liquids, you really start smelling those wonderful aromas from those warm winter spices. At this point, your house is going to smell amazing. The next thing you want to do is grease a 9 by 5 inch loaf pan with some non-stick spray, or you can use some softened butter instead. And then I like to line it with some parchment paper as well. And I always make sure that the parchment paper is a little oversized, so there's little flaps hanging on the sides, so when the bread is done baking, you just pull it by those flaps and it's a lot easier to take the bread out. Now go ahead and fill the loaf pan with the pumpkin bread batter, and make sure to scrape all of the batter out of the bowl because that is delicious stuff and you don't want any of it left behind. Then grab your spatula and smooth it out as best as you can. And now the last and final step of the recipe is to top the pumpkin bread with some raw, unsalted pumpkin seeds. And I use a total of 2 tablespoons, but honestly, you can add as much as you want. Then preheat your oven to 325 degrees Fahrenheit and bake the pumpkin bread for about 80 minutes or until a toothpick comes out clean after being inserted into the center of the pumpkin bread. Once the pumpkin bread is all done baking, you want to give it some time to just cool just a little bit before you slice it open and enjoy it with a cold glass of milk or a hot cup of coffee. The best part about this recipe is that it's super simple to make. I mean, everything comes together in one bowl. You just pour it out into a loaf pan and let the oven do all the hard work. The hardest part really is just waiting for it to cool down before you can enjoy it. But other than that, it's insanely easy. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and if you did, please be sure to hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye! Oh yeah.